Okay, so what we're going to do today is also look at the rules and regulations, what we would like to call the standard operating procedures or studio etiquette. Some of the things that you need to know if you're a prospective broadcaster or if you're already a broadcaster. Maybe it kind of had slipped your mind, but these are things that you always need to know. Now, the studio is the presenter's office. Yes, just like any office, it ought to be treated with respect and has rules to be followed to ensure efficient workflow. The studio, however, is a delicate office and demands to be treated accordingly. The unique elements of a radio broadcast studio include, and most importantly, that it is a vehicle of communication to mass audiences. Thus, it is very sensitive, and in most cases, radio broadcast studios are regarded as protected areas. It is built for communication efficiency, meaning a lot of delicate electrical, digital, and online equipment and wiring is in place. The soundproofing means it has no windows or for ventilation, and low temperatures around 18 to 19 degrees, it differs, have to be maintained. So dressing appropriately and being in a favorable health status is highly recommended if you're going to work in a studio. It is the center or origin of all sound or video elements, thus high levels of adherence to noise, disturbance, security regulations are expected at all times. We are just looking basically at some of the rules and regulations that you need to follow if you are going to be working in a studio. A very highly sensitive area that you're going to be working in, and we want to look at some of those things that you should know and should remember if you're going to go into radio broadcasting. Okay, in order to maintain clean industry recommended best practices and uninterrupted broadcasts, the following are expected. First of all, no external audio elements, including music, will be used for transmission. Sources such as flash drives, hard drives, compact discs, laptop will not be permitted unless appropriate approval is granted by the designated authority. It is mandatory that the presenter carries out a desk check before going live. This includes your microphone, your music, and other audio or video source levels. Agreed levels must always be maintained, not too high, not too low. We spoke a little bit about this when we were looking at the desk operations. All audio elements, including music, imaging, commercials, jingles, external sources such as outside broadcasts and interviews, are to be transmitted via the provided playout system and must be the authorized versions. Special permission from authorities to operate outside these parameters, such as guest DJs, must be sought and granted. Due to the sensitivity of equipment and soundproof elements of the studio, no eating, smoking, or consumption of any substance that may attract rodents, insects, pests, smells, discomfort, or disorientation of presenter or the guests or staff working in the studio is permitted at all. So it's not permitted. Any of those things are not permitted. We also want to let you know that radio presentation demands a clear mind. Thus, a clean and organized environment is expected at all times in studio. No litter or clutter will be tolerated for the benefit of the presenter, guests, plus to also assist ease of working, and in the event of photography or filming. Studio is to be kept neat before, during, and after the show. It is the presenter's responsibility to ensure this. That's right, we continue looking at some of the standard operating procedures of radio studios. Like we said, very delicate piece of office equipment is in there, and you need to adhere to all of these things. If authorities or those charged with the responsibility of orderly conduct in studio, such as the station managers, producers, security, or technical staff, suspect or detect intoxication, disorientation, they may stop the presenter from broadcasting. Broadcasting thrives on continuity, thus a presenter must be alert at all times, especially during the on-air shift. It is also required that all other faculties be alive before and just after the show. As a result, sleeping in studio or outside the studio during a show is not tolerated. Integrity is key in broadcasting. on and off the microphone. High levels of discipline are expected, thus no taking off of clothing, engaging in any sexual or illicit activity in studio. No dirty, rude, or suggestive language is to be used in studio. This applies on and off air. Language, music, guests, call-ins, or external broadcast coverage or recordings that incite or promote or provoke hate or ill feeling towards audiences, advertisers, competitors, shareholders, callers, critics, or any gender, religious grouping, community, race, ethnic grouping, or sexual orientation is totally prohibited. Professional presenters are expected to execute their duties at the highest level. Therefore, abuse of telephones, internet services, equipment, or privilege or audience is not permitted. Now, courtesy also calls upon presenter to make way for the next presenter at least 10 minutes before the end of their show. This involves clearing of the workspace, logging out of any profiles, emails, or other platforms that might have been in use. Commercial logs are to be adhered to strictly, so signing off on all played commercials and indicating any mishaps is also mandatory. Usually, a physical or digital studio report is provided and must be utilized to indicate any abnormal activity. If all was well, this should also be indicated. It helps the technical team, it also helps the management. All important information must be recorded clearly and brought to the attention of the relevant offices, and this includes competition winners, complaints, any abnormalities, and so on and so forth. Serious and punishable and sometimes dismissible offenses that can be committed include fraud, bribery, whereby a presenter or producer receives payment or benefits from musicians or their representatives to play their music or promote their shows. Sometimes also missing commercials and concealing breaking furniture or equipment, or advertising products and services or events that are not logged can cost you your job. So these are some of the standard operating procedures that we just needed to look at today. We've got some more, but just in case you're thinking of going into broadcasting or you're already on air, these are some of the things that you need to adhere to in order for you to execute best industry practice and to be a professional and successful broadcaster. Iswa ZW, like, share, subscribe, follow, and comment in our comment sections. We are ready to respond to your questions and your comments. Thank you so much for watching.